Hey guys, and welcome to my Super Paper Mario Any% tutorial. This is going to be a series of all 8 chapters. I will also do one for general movement and tips on certain tricks and stuff like that. I'll also go over tricks after I go over each level one by one in the video, and I will kind of go in depth with the tricks, and I'm also gonna make a beginner and like intermediate slash advanced. So like I'm kind of separating what I do in runs versus what you may want to do when starting. I currently have a 403, which is the current record in the game, and I've learned quite a bit with the movement, so I thought I'd make a tutorial. And yeah, okay, so let's get started. So, right at the start here, in 1-1, you're gonna get a coin. This is good because this lets you save a little bit of time in dialogue later on. You'll also notice, well, there's a lot of things. There's like movement tech in this game where you jump every time you move. I'm gonna cover all of that in another video. It would be already uploaded by now, because I think I'm gonna upload that one first anyways. So you go into the house over here, and you use Tippy to reveal the door. So, after you do that, you go inside, and you get the flip ability. This is the beginner section, by the way. And after you do, you're going to flip into 3D, and there's a few items on the ground. There's a healing item, which you don't need to pick up, but definitely as a beginner you should. It takes like 1 second. It makes your menus a little bit slower later, which is why I like to skip it in runs. But you don't really have to. It's very good to pick up. I'm also playing on Japanese. It saves like 30 seconds or something. So, right after you flip into 3D, you're gonna pick up the Shell Shock and Shroom Shake. It doesn't really matter which order you pick them up in. Anyway, so this is the first door in the game where you do like door tech, I call it. So you want to open it towards the middle. There's another way you open doors later. I'll get to that later. You also may want to watch my movement tips video as I'll go over that. So after you get those 2 items, you could also get the Fire Burst here. You're going to need that in pre-chapter 2. You also might have noticed I didn't cover pre-chapter 1. I'll make a section, or no, sorry, I'll make another video where I cover pre-chapters all at once, just because it's a lot easier. So you exit and you get these 3 coins. You can get 4 there. It's kind of precise to do it without losing time. I'd rather not lose time over it. Okay, so the first room here, there's a Koopa that you're gonna kick, and it's kind of random how much coins you get. You get a consistent amount of points, but this time I had a lot of item drops. They kind of suck. Like, as a new runner, you'll probably want to pick up like a big egg, for example, because that heals 12. It's good to use to like get more items, but when you're at top level, you don't want item drops, or you just ignore them. Unless there's a certain few item drops that sell for a lot of money, and they're really good to get. So after you flip into 3D here, you're gonna flip back into 2D. This is a beginner strat. It's very easy to hit this block and move in 3D, and this jump is a lot harder if you stay in 3D. It's not too slow if you flip. It's maybe like a second or 2, but that does add up over the run, so you may want to try and implement that later. Yeah, so you want to get 12 coins there, or you can get 13 if you jump really fast anyways. So leaving the level, you'll want 20 coins at the lowest. You can get more. It doesn't matter if you get more. It doesn't really matter if you get less. It's just the ideal amount to look for. So coming up here, we have a grinding section where we're going to grind points on these squiglets. I'll go through it a few times. So you're going to get as many points as you can. You're just going to need over 10,000. It's not too hard. You already have 3,000. So for like general advice on doing this, you want to bounce on the 2 first ones here and then move over to the right. So what I do is I do a short bounce to hit them, to kill them, or to start killing them, and then the second hit I do a full bounce to go to the next ones. It doesn't really matter if you do one at a time. Sometimes I do one at a time. It just depends on my position. So you kind of just got to get better at adjusting to this. It doesn't matter. I could go off now and have like maybe like if I were to hit every enemy around there, I'd get like 10,000, and that's good. 10,000's fine. But every extra 2,000 points you have, you save a second and a half later. So you want to get as much as you can without losing way too much time, of course. You also get more coins, and boss fights are going to be slightly faster up to a certain point of the run. So you're really just double bouncing on them like this. Once you hit 20k points, the last enemy you bounced on, or enemies, depending on if you've bounced on many of them, the last one you bounced on is going to have enough HP to do another bounce on them, but then the next ones are going to die in one hit because you have a lot more attack. So you just gotta know when to stop grinding. Like, going for 36k is really good, but you could stop earlier. You could also do only short bounces, but it's very risky. So I'll go through that another time at full speed, because I kind of just paused it as I was going. You also have a chance when you hit this block to get a fast flower or a slow flower. The slow flower is good for beginners because it's really easy to get lots of points. You can get like 90k points for free. In another like video going over a bunch of the tricks, I'll definitely talk about this section more. But because this is about more the levels and the guide on how to do it, on how to do the levels, I'll just go through the levels, and I'll talk about tricks in like another video. I'll still talk about tricks, it's just not as in-depth. So yeah, always do high bounces to get to the next ones. But yeah, 36,000 compared to 10,000, that's gonna save 13 seconds. A little over 13 seconds, like 19-ish seconds later. It's actually really good. And that clearly didn't take like 20 more seconds to get all that points, and then it's also gonna save me time in boss fights from having a higher attack level. So the rest of this chapter is just running. You also may notice I'm gonna jump when I take 3D damage. That's because when you're airborne and you take damage in this game, that doesn't knock you back specifically. You keep all your momentum. If you were to not do this, you would slow down and have to regain your speed again, so you'd have to jump again. It's really slow. So you want to make sure you're jumping every time you take 3D damage. So that'll be the end of the 1-1 beginner guide. So right away we'll get into the advanced guide. Oh, replayed, whoops. Okay, so here's the advanced guide. So same thing, 1 coin at the start. If you're more advanced at the game, like, you're gonna know how to do this starting movement as long as your movement's decent, so there's nothing really to explain in this first section again. So this time we're going to skip the healing item. You don't have to do this, even if you're advanced, you don't have to. But like, if you're going for a really good time, you might as well. You're not gonna need it Like, if you expect to take damage on a boss fight where you'd have to use one, your run's gonna suck anyway, so you probably won't want to continue it. So you might as well take the time save. I accidentally skipped to the end. Okay, my bad. Okay, so same thing, 3 coins here. Things are gonna change a little bit in this next room specifically. Here, this is a big factor of the run, so now we're preparing for a trick we're gonna do called life stream jump in 1-2. So we kind of just have to get good coins there. I mean, you don't have to. You just need decent coins. Like, you're gonna get coin drops unless you get very unlucky. It's happened to me a few times where I get 0. It's incredibly rare. So, you're gonna flip here and move over to this corner, and you're gonna do a jump across this. It's not too hard, like, don't get intimidated by it. It's just a normal jump, but what I like to do is I like to stand a little bit to the right. Like, you can be quite a bit more to the left and still able to jump, but then you're not gonna get the speed going diagonally, which is what you want for the jump. So I kind of just I'm holding up, and then I hold left, and then I jump a few frames after I hold left. It's not precise or anything, but yeah. So instead we get this block in 3D. In the beginner section we got it in 2D. That's definitely a thing you should go for. It saves a second or two, and it's really easy. So one thing to note, if you have 21 coins by this point, you're on really good pace to have decent coins. I have 24 here. I got really lucky with coins. But yeah, there's almost the worst ever coins I've had 22 exiting 1-1, I think. I might have had 21 before, and then there's an RNG coin you can get, and I actually ended up getting it. So you need 22 at least exiting this, or else you'll have to basically roll a dice and hope you get a RNG coin drop later. So for this grinding section, we actually don't want points. As you can see, our health is at 8 points. We're going to be doing a trick called life shroom jump, where you need to die and use a life shroom to revive you. Anyways, so you don't want to level up because that heals you and that makes damaging down harder. So it's really bad, actually. So you kind of just do short bounces, trying to end on the right, and get this coin here, because you want as many coins as you can get. Also hit this block. Usually it's not going to be anything, but if it's a coin, that's actually really nice. You might think a coin's useless, but it's actually really good. And then fast flower. Do not pick up slow flower if you're going for life shroom jump. You could also be advanced and not doing life shroom jump. I kind of actually recommend not doing it, but it's all your decision. I think you can get good at the game without doing it. So if you aren't doing life shroom jump and you consider yourself advanced, just kind of use like the harder jump strat, but still follow the beginner part of the guide for the first 2 levels, because that'll be not doing life shroom jump. Anyways, so I'm gonna play this again. So you kind of try and double bounce on them with a short bounce, because you don't need to stay on that long. Get around 9,000. 9,000's really good. 6,000's even fine. Just don't over level. If you level up, that really sucks. So I have 26 coins here. That's actually perfect. The ideal amount is 26. If you have 26, you get to skip a set of blocks that are kind of out of the way. Oh, whoops, sorry. But yeah, that'll be the end of 1-1 here. Oh, whoops. So we're into 1-2. So this is gonna be the beginner / advanced one. This is gonna be no life shroom jump. I just want to make sure that if you're watching this, use the timestamps in the description. They're gonna be useful for skipping through. Alright, so right off the bat, you want to flip. This is no life stream jump, so if you are going to do life stream jump, skip to the life stream jump section, or the advanced 1-2 section. So you're going to go... I didn't really explain it because I was explaining something else. You go in this section behind in 3D. It's just like a little shortcut. It saves like, I don't know how much it saves. It's like 30 seconds or something. So you go up this ladder, and this is where in 1-2 it differs if you do life stream jump or not. We're not going to do it in this part, so you just jump on the blocks and jump up. You can get those coins. You don't really need them. Like, if you have like 15 coins somehow, then I guess get them. So, this is just simple movement. You can just jump while going up the slope. I'm not 100% sure on it, but I think that you get a decreased speed on the slope and not in the air. I could be wrong about that. I mean, it doesn't hurt to just jump there. So yeah, you go in this house after going in the pipe and talk to this guy in 3D, and there's a little cutscene. This level is pretty straightforward, honestly. I grabbed a mushroom there because, I mean, it's 1k points, and that'll save you, well, every 2k you save 1.5 seconds later, so if it takes you less than a second to get a mushroom and you want health, you might as well do it. So right here, use Tippy to reveal the door. In the room before, all you did was go in 3D. This is actually pretty important here. You're gonna want to open this chest on the right side. The reason why this is fast is because Mario, like, backs up and then also faces towards the block during the cutscene, so you'll see he, like, turns right here, and then you could just pick it up right away. It's pretty fast. It saves, like, maybe a second, but these things are gonna add up, and especially if you're not doing life stream jump at, like, a advanced skill level, you're gonna want to go for all the time save you can get. So, throw the block at the switch. Yeah, honestly, this level is very straightforward. There's not too much to talk about. You could see me turning around before doors. I guess I should explain this now. Whoops. Oh, I accidentally... Damn it. Okay. Alright, so... yeah, with doors, when you have pixels, you're gonna do something different for doors, because the game lets the pixel go in the door with you, and it doesn't close until the pixel is there. So what you do for this is you turn around so that the pixel goes behind you, so you can look, the pixel is going towards the center of the door, which is good, that's what you want, and they go straight in. That saves like a third of a second every door over just going in the middle, which is what everyone used to do. So it's pretty interesting. You'll see me go for that almost everywhere. Yeah, I also recommend reading the sidebar. It's pretty useful information I'll put there. Anyways, so after you get the the pixel, you leave. Go in this house, one to the right, and talk to Watch It. And it's just straightforward. You go in the pipe and then enter the house and talk to Green. And that's the end of 1-2. There's not really much to explain. So if I did a bad job, I guess it doesn't really matter because it's not too hard to follow. Okay, so now we're moving on to advanced. This is the really hard part of the run, for if you're going for, like, I guess we call it the WR route. I guess that's what we call it. So you need to get these 3 coins. You need to get as many coins as possible. So if you remember, I said leave with at least 22 coins. So now at the absolute worst, you'd be at 25. Usually you'd take damage here, but since I did this in segmented, since I did this in multiple parts, I didn't take damage here. This is because between levels, it keeps your 3D meter. So you kind of just have to remember where you take damage. I'll show where I usually take damage. I usually take it right about here. Sometimes, if I did the grinding section in 1-1 a bit different, I might take damage like right here, and it's really annoying because you have to move upright and then go in the door. Sometimes you just have to wait until you take damage and go in the door. It's really slow. I guess that means you did a really fast grind, so maybe you don't lose as much time if you do a slow grind anyways. That's actually pretty interesting to think about. So same thing here, climb up. This is where it's going to change. If you're doing life shroom jump, there's a few differences. The runs, I'd say it's pretty much different up until 5-2, but there are really small differences with like attack damage and stuff. So right here, this is like a very important part of doing life shroom jump. It's like being able to collect coins pretty optimally. So I had like 20, I think I had 26 or 27 exiting 1-2. So these are the blocks you would, or exiting 1-1. These are the blocks you'd skip if you have 26 coins. I'm getting them to show how to do it, because a lot of people don't actually know there's blocks there. This became important when we started to have to get more coins because of a new trick found where you use another shell shock. Anyways, so after you get 37, you go up to the clouds. In the no LSJ variation, you not go up here because coins aren't as useful in that route. So right here, take damage until you're at 1 health. You might want to see this here, just to know how to take damage quite optimally. I'm not sure how optimal I did it here. Oh yeah, it's very random too. I got good RNG there. I actually got really solid RNG. So this is kind of the time to check, do you have 1 health? Do you hear the fast beeping? If you don't have 1 health, what you can do, you can jump on this pipe right here and then jump into the void, and then when you respawn, your last position was on the pipe. So then you just respawn on the pipe, which is nice. So I'm sure if you're doing the advanced thing, you've seen the run before. There's nothing to optimize in this section right here. You just go and talk to him, then cutscenes, exit. So now we're gonna go to the shop. Something to note, right here you could flip and you can get rid of some 3D bar. It saves half a second. It's really stupid because you don't have time to get ready for LSJ, which is what we're gonna do after this. So then now you buy 2 shell shocks and a life shroom. And you need to do this because you need 2 of them later. And then you need the life shroom right now. So after you buy both of them, right away, you would flip. With the other method, if you were to flip before entering the shop, you'd have 3 bars of 3D, and then if you flip instantly, you'd have 3 gone, sorry. When you get to here, you'd flip instantly, but this time we're gonna wait like half a second so that one of them drains. So this way you have 2 extra 3D bars to kind of get ready for the trick. So this is life shroom jump. This is really dumb. So you're gonna want to see how I move to get there, because it's kind of hard. It kind of takes getting a feel for, but I want to explain it also. So after clipping out of the shop, I didn't even explain shop clips. So if you flip while hugging the left edge of the wall, you just can walk through the sign and then flip again and then you're out of bounds. It's pretty cool. So you're gonna jump and hold up left. And now when I'm in the section, I hold up left until and then I do a jump. Like, you don't have to do the jump right away. I just use it to time my next jump because there's a pipe in the way. So flip, hold up left, jump, and then I jump right when I see Mario on the screen, and then I just do 2 jumps after that. What that does is that gets you over the pipe. So I've spent quite long on this section. So life stream jump, this is gonna be in another video explaining this in depth because there's so much to it. Essentially, you flip or jump out of the life shroom reviving you. There's 1 frame where you could do it, so you have a 60th of a second to do it. It's quite hard, actually. It sounds like it wouldn't be that bad, but there's a lot of things to learn about it. So that's 1, 2. Thankfully, we got that out of the way. It's a very complicated section with damaging down and coins and all that. So now we're getting into Beginner 1-3. You're gonna do a point grind here, get some coins. It's nothing too important. I'd like to go over this a little bit. You want to hit this block right here, this one in the back left, and then top left, and then flip into 3D, and then hit the same block you just hit to get 3 items. So now you're just gonna hit every enemy here and collect some coins. Don't lose time over collecting coins. There's no point in losing time. Oh, sorry, this is Beginner. Beginner, you're gonna actually want coins. You're gonna want at least 36. As you can see, I have 50 something. You kind of get better at coin collecting when you get better at the game, I say. So for a beginner, 36 might be quite a lot, so you kind of want to try and collect them as much as you can. And then jump under the red tree 10 times. I added a memory section at the bottom if you want to look at that to remember things. Alright, so this next section, there's going to be a trick we're going to do. I guess we just call it rock jump. A lot of tricks in this game we don't have names for because there's so many platforming tricks. So you pick up this squig and then you bring him to the end of the room, where we're gonna throw him on this trampoline and we're gonna bounce off of his rock. I use a cue for this. I jump like not right when it touches it. Okay, it's like right when that hill ends, at the bottom of the screen. So like right where it ends. See where it ends? Or kind of like right when it goes over the middle of it, I jump and I just make sure I land on it and hold right to get on top. So now I'm going to show the way to do it. If you somehow mess this up, I don't know how, or if you just don't want to do it, you don't feel confident. This is actually not too much slower. This is maybe like a few seconds at worst. You just hit that switch and go up through this thing. So now we get to the first boss fight. I'm going to link a few things in the description. I have a boss fights guide, which is going to be very useful for this. It's not like a voice guide, it's a text guide. But it should help a lot. I made sure to go very in-depth on these bosses. But what you do is you throw them in the corner and you hold 2 to style... Or, sorry. You hold 2 to bounce off him higher, and you shake your Wii remote to stylish. It's really annoying, actually, but just try and get it. If you fail it, it's not too bad, just as long as you don't get grabbed. Getting grabbed is the bad part. You can actually rack up a lot of points here if you don't fall down, so try not to fall, but then if he tries to grab you early on, you'll always fall. So after that cutscene, you just enter the door. So next you're going to want to get the ghost shroom. So a ghost shroom sells for 44 coins, and 36 coins makes you have 80 basically. In the pre-chapter 2 section, you're going to buy an ice storm and 2 shell shocks for the beginner route. So you need to pick this up. We're going to not do a trick called ice turbo skip where you bounce off of one of those blue enemies to get up there. It's actually quite hard. It sounds like it might be easy, but there's a lot to that trick. This cycle right here, it's kind of hard to make. You need decent movement. Just as long as you don't mess anything up, you should be fine. But I could see how, if you're a beginner, you may miss that. I wouldn't be surprised if you would miss that on, like, your first runs. So the last thing is hold 1 and minus on this blue platform. And then finish the chapter. So now we're getting into 1-3 advance. It's not much different. You're gonna have, like, 9k here. You can have 6k, it's not even a huge deal. If you do have 6k, you need to make sure to have 20k before entering this door. It's not too hard to get points here. Again, if you're, like, advanced, you would probably be good at bouncing off enemies and comboing them. Because every enemy you bounce on, you get, like, a multiplier of points. It's pretty crazy how fast it stacks up. So try to collect coins for this. Like, you see, like, the falling coins? I try to collect them, but don't let go of it. Don't lose time over it, because these coins are just nice to have. Later on in the run, you're gonna want lots of coins. But you don't need to stress over them, because you get coins so fast later in the run. It's just like, if you could get them without losing time, definitely do so. So, I assume that if you're advanced, you already know Squigglet rock jump, but if for some reason you don't, throw him on the platform, get him to shoot at you, and then run over there and jump off of it. For chunks, you want to make sure not to fall. This is very important to have enough points later. You definitely can have enough points, it's just so slow if you do fall. I did end up falling here, which really sucks. So now my point combo is ruined. So now we run into Ice Turbo Skip. There's a good tutorial made by JCR that I'm gonna link in the description. I'm also gonna cover this in, like, a tricks video where I go over every trick, like, more in depth. I still want to go over them. So right away here, you're gonna run to the right, and this trick is RNG. It can never not work if you are good at adapting to the RNG. So, like, he can be very far left here. He can also be very far right. He's pretty far right, not too far though. You just gotta kind of get the spacing between him that you barely grab him with the throw, and are also far away. So after you do that, he's gonna hit you, and he's gonna kind of be, actually, he's gonna be a lot higher than where he was originally. You can't make the jump at his current height right here. So you can see when I pick him up, he's way higher. So now this is, like, the RNG part. I don't think it's RNG per se. It's, like, very, very, very position based. He can shoot ice towards you very early into his animation, and he's stuck at a high point in his animation, so you get, like, a free chance at getting on the ledge really fast and easy. It saves, like, 2 seconds over the normal one, so I got it here. If he was not to do this, you wait for him to sway up and down, and when he's at the bottom of his animation, you want to jump towards him. So when you land on him, he'll be at the top of it. So you see he's, like, swaying up and down. You want him to be at the top of it. Definitely check out JCR's tutorial. That's pretty useful for learning it. And that's the end of that level. Now we get to 1-4 Beginner. This is a very easy level. It's good for practicing movement, I find. There's definitely better levels to practice movement on. I'll go on about that more in my movement and tips video. That should already be up, so make sure to watch that. So you kind of just go through these first few rooms. There's a few things to know about this room specifically. I'll just show it first. So you jump over this fire bar, or it's kind of sucks, but it's random how the fire bar moves. It might not be complete. I think it is random. Like, it's different every time. I know for sure. It might be like how long you've... No, I don't think it has... Well, anyways, if right now it's like it's starting to go up, that if you were to go on the bottom path, then you get hit, definitely go up. I kind of just look and change my movement accordingly, because it's a lot easier to go under than go above, because then going above you can make some mistakes. So you might as well check. If you could go under, then it's really easy. You could go above no matter what. So yeah, just keep that in mind. So now go through this section in 3D and hit this yellow block. And now we're gonna get a key here. Now, right after you get this key, I'm gonna slow this down. So when I get the key, I hold left. Or no, sorry, I don't hold left. I tap 2 to get rid of the key, and then I do a short jump plus left at the same time, and then you get quite a bit of speed, and then you could jump off the edge of this ladder. It's actually quite hard to do correctly, but if you do, you clear these enemies, which otherwise you probably wouldn't clear. If you take damage, it's like a second every time. It's not too slow. So yeah, right here, jump plus left, make sure it's a short jump, and then do a full jump off of that. And then you should clear them pretty easily. If you don't clear them, it's fine. Like, since you're watching the beginner section, I assume you don't really care if you take damage. I think you care more about the HP loss than the time loss. So right here, be sure to kill this enemy, as he'll get in the way later. There's like a strat you could do with him when he is in the way to save a little bit of time, but I might as well not cover it because it's a bit more advanced, and advanced will actually skip this section. So right here, I'm gonna show 2 ways of doing this. I actually thankfully failed it, so I could show the other way. But what you're gonna do is go down the ladder and hug the left wall. And then you press 2 to drop off the ladder, and then you throw towards it, but I missed it. I think I was too low. Yeah, it was too low. It should barely reach or no, I wasn't too low. I did it too late, so I pressed 1 too late. I actually honestly haven't done this trick in a while, because this is the normal section of the level. If you miss it, like, I don't know if you should go for it as a beginner. Kind of just try it, and if you know how to do it, you'll probably want to go for it. But the backup is just throw this squiglet at it. So that opens up a section where you can get this key. What we're going to do in the advanced way is get that key through the wall. It's actually very precise. So definitely wouldn't be ideal to start with that. In this room, use Tippy to reveal the door. And then in this next room, you go get this key. Very straightforward things. As a beginner, you might want to flip back here like I did here. This is just to make climbing up the ladder in the next room more lenient, so you have more time to do it. In 3D, if you take damage on a ladder, you fall down quite far. So that's how you avoid it. You flip in the next room an extra time. So to do this, you're gonna stop in front of the ladder, jump, and hold up. And then you need to make sure you're at a complete stop to climb the ladder, otherwise you'll start like messing around near the ladder. So you hit this blue switch right here, and then hit this red switch, and then there's cutscenes. In this next room, you hit the blocks 3, 1, 4, 2. So yeah, 3, 1, 4, 2. So that's really, like, all there is to do in this chapter. Then we get to a boss fight that's fairly straightforward. Actually show it here using Tippy. I point at the screen to show you. Right when his tail goes off screen, you flip. And then I also show right where I'm pointing, right where the kind of arrows are on the ground, you just stand behind that area. My batteries did disconnect here. I'll speed this up quickly. So yeah, you want to stand behind that area and then hold up after the text right here. And then jump on him. You use the damage invincibility. It's not too hard. Definitely do it as a beginner. Saves like 3 seconds or something. So now this is kind of a hard part. You pick up this guy and stay as far left as you can. Like, don't go way too far left. Like, this is a good position right here. Just be like right under the score section. And then you want to jump right when the tail ends. Well, it doesn't have to be. You have a lot. It's very lenient. And hit him 3 times with the enemies. And then you do the same thing and you finish the chapter. Nothing really to explain there. So this is the introductory of Key Early. I'm gonna be doing the buffer method. It's a lot easier and it's like 1 second slower than the normal method. So you pause and then you tap right and pause again. And then you flip. And then you seam walk. Don't worry, I'm gonna go in more detail to this trick a little later. So you jump up on there, go inside and flip, and then you get the key early. It saves like 20 seconds. It's so not worth doing at a beginner level, so that's why I put it in advance only. So same thing, I went over this again. I put the text on the left side of the screen, so like if you want to see the text, it might help you. So it's not really different. Like, I went through all the small movement things in the beginner section. There's nothing different between the two. When you get more advanced, you kind of do movement around the game a lot faster. So like, I'm sure if you're in the advanced section, you'll have better movement already. I went through small things even in the beginner section. So that'll be the end of the actual chapter sections, but I'll go through Key Early in more detail. So I'm going to show off, I believe, the buffer method first. No, I showed off the bufferless method. I don't know why. I should have done a different order. Whatever. So you go in the corner, hold down left, and jump when Mario's glove is halfway in the sand. So, like, you would have jumped already by now. You could also go later. There's, like, different... It's not too hard. Like, just make up your own cue, honestly. Everyone uses a different one. So you're jumping and holding down left. And what you're going to do is when you clip, or, like, right before you clip, because you're going to react a little bit differently, because this game has, like, 3 frames of input delay on buttons. So it's, like... You're going to have to do it right before you clip, kind of get a feel for it, I guess. So once you clip, you're going to press the home menu button. Oh, no, sorry. This is the normal method. So right when you clip, you're going to slide from down left to right and then to A in, like, one motion with the with your thumb, so you're holding down left, and then you go right A. You slide your thumb, and that just sets it up so that you'll land on the seam and then flip right away. So yeah, I do fail it a few times here. I'm not exactly consistent with this method. I really don't like this method that much. It's really annoying. It only saves like a second over the buffer method, which is a lot easier to do. Sadly, the buffer method only works on Japanese. For some reason they changed it. I have no idea why. But I do it a few times here. I do fail it because it's a really dumb trick. So you just like go hold from down left, slide to right to A. And it's pretty consistent. Like, you definitely could be consistent with it. I'm personally not, so I'm gonna move on to the buffer method now. So instead of pressing right and then A when you clip, you're gonna just press the home button when you clip. Just wait for this. So right when you clip, right when you see you clip, or like you're reaching the corner, press the home menu button, and then you're gonna unpause and then tap right and then tap home menu again. This is for you to do smaller adjustments if you see like you're too far right. Right now I see I'm pretty far left. I should still land on the seam, but I still hold right and then flip anyway, just to make sure I stay on the seam. So that's clipping in. I think this is the easiest part to learn. This next part's hard to learn, but it's easy to execute once you've done it plenty of times. So you're gonna do short jumps to the left until you hit the wall. And then you're gonna do... hold on. And then you're gonna do a jump that's high enough to rub against this wall, like that. So now from here, you're gonna tap left. And then you're gonna be far enough in so that you can jump on the edge. And then you jump up. And then you jump and hold right, and then you flip again. And that's how you do key early. It's a fairly simple trick once you've, like, practiced all of it. Like, I'd say I'm probably 90% consistent with the no buffer method, but then with the... and then with the buffer method, I'm, like, very consistent. So that's gonna wrap up the tutorial for Chapter 1. If you have any questions, make sure to join the Discord. I put it at the bottom of the layout. I'm willing to, like, answer questions in the Discord. I'm pretty active there. And yeah, thank you for watching, and enjoy.